I think one of the biggest difficulties for people like myself in trying to come to terms with the experiences of institutionalisation is to get over the fear of what they've actually experienced. We were moved in '63. I was about 3.5. I had a brother who was 2 and a sister 6 months. Initially it was for a temporary period of 4 months. On the files it's there, voluntarily signed in. But once we were in, that was it. We ended up there in Nudgee, and Mum, she kept trying to get us out. We went in '63, but Mum died in '72. And throughout that time, Mum had consistently put in forms and requests for housing. Most of the time, though, they either got lost or misplaced. I've only got probably about 3 times I can remember seeing her. That was a couple of times there at Nudgee during visits, and then in hospital just before she died. They're about the only memories I've actually got of yarning with her. So that's actually, I suppose, one of the times I can actually remember yarning with my mother. It's kind of funny looking back at the place. It looks so small when there were so many kids. So many kids here. The nuns actually asked me what I'd like to do in terms of Year 8, and I suggested I'd like to go to Banya High School. Banya High School played hockey. I'd actually got my name in for the local Brisbane side and then go in for the Queensland, the state sides and things like that. So I was thinking, I could do really well in hockey. So I asked for Banya, but I didn't get it. I just went where everybody else did, which was straight to Boys Town. I didn't mind it. I enjoyed riding horses, I enjoyed working the farm, all of those sorts of things. I never did well at English. Aboriginal people were also not only dispossessed, but displaced. Because we're not existing here in this country, we're now in Europe, as far as this head is working. He sees us in Europe. Okay? And of course, he is civilised. This lad here needs to make that journey. In terms of the family reuniting, I think it was 1978, when we got words of the younger brothers and sisters. Magella, Tony, Jason and Stephen and I were there when we met down in Wynnum. Gradually we just got to know each other. Stephen and I did try to get to see Elizabeth once at her place, but I think the lady who was with her at the time, when we knocked on the door and she opened it up, we just saw this big lump of wood. It just came down at us, because she knew who we were and why we were there. So we just bolted off the stairs and jumped one of the railings and so forth. So I think we had to wait a little bit longer before we could get in touch with Elizabeth, but we did.
You and I,
to do. This had nothing to do with Aboriginal women being bad mothers. You know, it just had everything to do with this intention that Rudd never talks about.
The time has now come for the nation to turn a new page. A new page in Australia's history by righting the wrongs of the past and so moving forward with confidence to the future.
It's interesting when you have a look at the apology that Rudd offered. He never actually questioned or engaged with the intent of those practices, which was basically to conform Aboriginal behaviour. Regardless whether of the gender, this authority is just too. If we keep our history as something to be afraid of, then we never actually sort of ourselves actually I suppose understand or learn to understand and grow to understand what and why we went through what we did.
Ain't it no fun for 200 years since you took away our land and you took away our spears? Put us in a chicken coop and tied us to a tree. Come on, little black cat, won't you dance with me? We're in the gutter. We're lying in the gutter. And I'd ask you, do you know how it feels? And I'd ask you, do you know how it feels? And I'd ask you, do you know how it feels to be black like me?
Thank you.